Hey guys, we're into doe and spike season, and I'm out here at the ranch just for a day and a half or so. See if I can get a doe down, or maybe an axis deer or an axis buck. Been having a lot of axis deer show up here at the middle blind, so that's where I'm at today. Set this morning, but mostly they've been coming in the afternoon, so I'm going to make this really short. But I want to take you back and show a hunt that my daughter and I did when it was still season, general season, and my daughter actually misses a really nice buck 2 times. She actually had 2 opportunities, one in the morning, one in the evening. This buck was dogging a doe. Wind is blowing really hard today, so I don't know if anything's going to come in today. But anyways, I'll show you these hunts, and my daughter's miss. She didn't even want to interview because she was so disgusted. She actually, second time through, she hit the screen. But then I'll show you a spike that I shot. We've been having a lot of spikes, and been seeing a lot of spikes, which is kind of irritating because those spikes, man, if you get too many of them, your deer the size of the bone on top of the heads of deer around here start shrinking big time. So I'll show you shooting that deer as well, and hopefully we'll get something down right here as well. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching Indian Creek Bow Hunting Journal.
Passion is something built in our souls by the Creator. It drives us to do what we do. As bow hunters, we always respect God's creation, but let us never forget that when our time comes and we stand before God on Judgment Day, God will never ask us how many big bucks we shot or how many species we have taken with our bow. God's only question will be this: what did you do with my son? So my daughter and I got out to the ranch in between Christmas and New Year's. We had a little bit of time, a couple of days to hunt. When we got there, we checked the cameras and noticed a decent sized buck coming to the cabin blind. And this is where this buck comes in. My daughter was sitting in the blind. She only had a single camera, so she didn't have a point of view camera, so you can't see what she's doing in the blind. But anyways, watch this as it plays out. This buck is following a late coming into estrus doe. So watch this as it plays out. So those deer just go out about probably 60, 70 yards, and the buck starts chasing the doe again. And it's almost as if nothing really happened. And these deer actually made their way back in. And my daughter could have taken a second shot, but the problem was she had dropped her bow when she was getting in the stand in the dark. And she was thinking that her sights were off, but she actually went and shot that afternoon just to see if her bow was still on, and it was on. So she actually just shot right under that buck, as you can tell. So my daughter gets back in the blind that evening, and I was reasonably sure this buck had come back, but before that buck came back, this fox came in, and he had his face towards her, never really gave her a good shot until he finally turned broadside, and then she made a little bit too much noise, and he decided he wasn't going to stick around. But anyways, this buck did make his way back in following the doe, but if you notice, this is a different buck following her in. Now watch his body language in just a little bit, because the other buck that she missed in the morning will come up as well. And actually this buck, she said, looked like it could have been a little bigger than the other one, but obviously the smaller buck was the dominant buck. And so he kind of pushed this other buck out, and game was on again. So watch this as it plays out. That's what you call a serious heartbreak. This time she shot way over its back to the right. And the reason is she actually shot out a different window, which is a little bit too tall for her. And so she hit the netting on the blind, and so it threw her arrow off. In fact, she was not too happy about it, and so unhappy that she didn't want to do this interview. So anyways, I thought I'd show you this. So back to the doe and spike season. I actually had these two bucks come in on January 11th here. I was out hunting just for a day and a half, but elected not to shoot this spike just because I'd already shot one. We don't want our doe to buck ratio to get too out of whack. But as I look back at it, I probably should have shot him. It's just I've been seeing way too many spikes this year. And but anyways, so I did hunt East Texas this year and had 3 really nice bucks, actually 2 really nice ones, one decent sized buck, and called this one Droopy, and then there was Tines Up, and then the last one we were calling Shorty. And then I also had later in the season a buck show up that I really didn't come up with a name for him, but kind of like I guess I could call him Crooked Horn is kind of what I was thinking I would call him. But this Crooked Horn buck was the only one that showed up during daylight all season long. So this place that I got permission to hunt just does not have bucks that show up during the day, and I can understand why, because they have to cross a couple of farms to get to where I'm at that has some open country, or where this particular place is where we were hunting. So they would only travel at night over there. I would assume that's what it was. So I'll probably try this place once again this year. I'll get the feeder set up in a different place, maybe a different travel corridor, and see if I can pull these bucks open during the day next year. So hopefully they'll still be around and they'll show up during the day. But anyways, this last hunt is a spike that I shot back a couple of weeks ago during the general season. So let's watch this hunt. Now this is an example of a good deer you do not want to shoot, this little 4-point. If you're going to shoot a young buck, you always want to shoot a spike. I actually went to the Deer Research Center in Kerrville back in 2010, and on their wall they have deer that they have studied year after year. They have the oldest pedigreed deer herd in North America. That's whitetail, that is. And they can show you what spikes look like when they get old and mature. And they don't look anything like deer that start off with either 4 points or even 6 points. Those are the deer that you want to keep, those deer that have the branched antlers when they're a year and a half. So if you're going to target any bucks at all when they're young, you need to shoot spikes, because they're not going to mount to as big a deer as anything that branches an antler. But here is an example of a deer that if you're going to shoot a young buck, this is one you want to shoot a spike. In fact, that's why Texas, the state of Texas, has a doe and spike season. That's so you can manage your herd for larger deer. Like I said, at the Deer Research Center in Kerrville, Texas, has proven this time and time again, if you eliminate the spikes out of the herd, you will see bigger deer as far as the bone on their head. in later years. Eliminate the gene pool, part of the gene pool that has less advantageous racks. So I went ahead and decided I was going to go ahead and shoot this this spike if he was going to give me an opportunity.
The good news is he only ran about 40 yards. Nice blood trail right here. Fell over. I heard him fall. I didn't see him fall, but he fell behind.
So that makes for one less inferior buck in the herd, and so we don't take too many of these spikes, but on occasion we will take them just to eliminate some of the inferior ones. Anyways, thanks for watching Indian Creek Bowhunting Journal. Be sure and give us a thumbs up, and also like and subscribe, and we'll give you all the future videos that we have. Thanks for watching.